very good morning, dear children. I hope you all are fine and safe with your family. Students, today in history, we will be learning lesson number 6, and the name of the lesson is Conflict with the Mughals. So far, Shivaji Maharaj had successfully fought the Adil Shahi, but for expanding the Swaraj, conflict with the Mughals was inevitable. Inevitable means what, students? Which is not at all avoidable. The Mughals posed a great threat to the Swaraj even as it began to expand. Maharaj trumped over this threat too. He regained his forts and territories from the Mughals. He got himself crowned. He took up a campaign of the south. We shall learn all these events in this chapter. So students, today in this video, we are going to learn in detail about three things, that is Shaista Khan's invasion, then we will be looking into Surat campaign, and at the end we will be getting some information about Jai Singh's invasion. Shaista Khan invasion. In February 1660, Shaista Khan left from Ahmednagar and entered the Pune province. In which year, students? In February 1660, Shaista Khan, what he did? He left Ahmednagar place and he entered Pune. He ravaged the territory. Ravage means what? He totally destroyed it. He ravaged the territory of Swaraj by sending small units of his army to the neighboring areas. He encamped at Chakhan. Chakhan, students, it's in Pune. Okay? And encamped means what? It means established a camp. Okay? So he encamped at Chakhan. Firangoji Narsala, the Kiledar of the fort of Chakhan, offered a strong resistance to Shaista Khan's army. Okay, so who was Firangoji Narsala? He was Kiledar of the fort of Chakhan. So what he did? He fought with him. Finally, the Mughals captured the fort of Chakhan. Okay, so who captured finally? Mughals. Shaista Khan set up his camp at Lal Mahal in Pune. He then what he did after Chakhan, what he did? He set up his camp at Lal Mahal in Pune. His forces looted the people around Pune for 2 years. His forces, who means what, students? Shaista Khan's people. Okay, what his forces did? They looted people for 2 years. This had an adverse effect on the moral of the people. Okay, so it had a very bad effect on the moral of the people. Now what happened? In these circumstances, Maharaj drew up a bold plan. So now what happened? Shivaji Maharaj thought of a plan. Shivaji Maharaj decided to raid Lal Mahal secretly under his own leadership. On 5th April 1663, Maharaj raided Lal Mahal at night with a select band of soldiers. In this raid, Shaista Khan lost his fingers. Okay, so when Shivaji Maharaj raided Lal Mahal at the night, what happened after that? Shaista Khan lost his fingers. He suffered great humiliation. He left Pune and shifted his camp to Aurangabad. Due to this episode, he incurred the displeasure of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb transferred him to province of Bengal. The successful attack on Shaista Khan had an impact on the people, and their faith in the capability of Maharaj was strengthened even further. So this was, students, Shaista Khan's invasion. Now students, we will be learning in detail about the Surat campaign. What had happened those days? In 3 years' time, Shaista Khan had ravaged large territories of Swaraj. What Shaista Khan has done? He has destroyed large territories of the Swaraj. It was necessary to make good for this loss. So because he has destroyed everything, so it was necessary to make good for this loss. So with a view to make good losses caused by Shaista Khan and to teach a lesson to the Mughals, Shivaji Maharaj raided Surat, a big trade center and the rich city. Okay, so to make good losses which was caused by Shaista Khan and to teach lesson to Mughals, what Shivaji Maharaj did, he raided Surat, which was a big trade center and a rich city. Shivaji Maharaj marched on Surat. Inayat Khan, the Subedar of Surat, could not put up any resistance. So Inayat Khan, who was he? He was the Subedar of Surat, but he also cannot do anything. Maharaj obtained plenty of wealth from Surat without bothering the common people. What he did? He obtained plenty of wealth from Surat without even bothering about the common people. His campaign of Surat was completely successful. So the campaign of Surat which he had planned, that was completely successful. This campaign was a stunning blow to Emperor Aurangzeb's prestige. Okay, so the campaign which was there, that is the Surat campaign, it was a stunning blow to whom? To Emperor Aurangzeb's prestige. Now we will be learning in detail about students Jai Singh's invasion. Aurangzeb sent Mirza Raja Jai Singh, a powerful Rajput Sardar. Who was Mirza Raja Jai Singh, students? He was a powerful Rajput Sardar. And who had sent? Aurangzeb. Why he sent? To curb the increasing activities of Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, so Aurangzeb sent whom? He had sent Mirza Raja Jai Singh. Okay, who was Mirza Raja Jai Singh? He was a powerful Rajput Sardar. Why he had sent? To check the increasing activities of Shivaji Maharaj. Jai Singh rallied the Portuguese, Dutch, British and Siddhis against Shivaji Maharaj. So what Jai Singh did? He rallied along with Portuguese, Dutch, British, Siddhis against whom? Shivaji Maharaj. Now, Jai Singh suggested that they should start a naval campaign against Maharaj. So what Jai Singh thought, that he gave a suggestion that they should start a naval campaign against Maharaj. Mughal forces were sent to various parts of the Swaraj. They ravaged the territories of the Swaraj. Okay, so Jai Singh suggested that they should start a naval campaign against whom? Against Maharaj. And Mughal forces were sent to various parts of the Swaraj. Why they were being sent? So that they can damage the territories of the Swaraj. Now students, see what happened. Jai Singh and Diler Khan laid the siege to the fort of Purandar. When Mughals put the fort of Purandar under siege, Murarbaji Deshpande fought with the greatest of the courage. He died a heroic death. Okay, so what happened? When Mughals put the fort of Purandar under siege, Murarbaji Deshpande, he fought with great courage, and because he fought with great courage, he died a hero's death. Considering the seriousness of the situation, Maharaj signed the Treaty of Purandar. So because the situation was very tense those days, so what Shivaji Maharaj did? He signed the Treaty of Purandar. In which year, students? In June 1665, and handed over 23 forts and adjoining territories, yielding an annual revenue of 4 lakh horns to the Mughals. So what happened, student? A Treaty of Purandar was being signed, okay, in June 1665. And after signing this, he handed over 23 forts. Along with 23 forts, adjoining territories, yielding an annual revenue of 4 lakh horns to the Mughals. Okay, he also assured the Mughals of help against Adil Shah. So this treaty was ratified by Aurangzeb. Okay, so this was, students, about Jai Singh's invasion. So what we have learned today in our today's video, students? We have learned 3 things. We have learned in detail about Shaista Khan's invasion. Then we have learned in detail, students, about the Surat campaign, and at the end we have learned in detail about Jai Singh's invasion. I hope, students, this much information must be cleared with everyone. If any doubt is there, I request everyone to again go through the video and get the doubts clear. Thank you so much. A very good morning, dear children. I hope you all are fine and safe with your family. Students, today in history, we will be continuing with our same lesson, that is lesson number 6, and the name of the lesson is Conflict with the Mughals in History. Students, in our previous video, we have learned in detail about Shaista Khan's invention, in which how Shaista Khan he had set up his camp at Lal Mahal in Pune, how his forces looted the people around Pune for 2 years, how Shivaji Maharaj secretly raided Lal Mahal at night on 5th April 1663, in which Shaista Khan lost his fingers. Due to great humiliation, Shaista Khan shifted his camp to Aurangabad. In Surat campaign, we have learned, with a view to make good losses caused by Shaista Khan and to teach a lesson to the Mughals, Shivaji Maharaj raided Surat, a big trade center and rich city. In Jai Singh's invasion, we have seen how Jai Singh and Diler Khan laid siege to Purandar Fort, how Morarbaji Deshpande fought with great courage and died a heroic death. We have also seen in detail about how a treaty between Jai Singh and Maharaj was signed in June 65, which was known as Treaty of Purandar. Today we will be learning in detail about Agra visit and escape, and also on the offensive against the Mughals. First one is Agra visit and escape. Jai Singh and Aurangzeb felt that Shivaji Maharaj ought to be kept away from Deccan politics for some time. What Jai Singh and Aurangzeb felt? They both felt that for some time Shivaji Maharaj should be kept away from Deccan politics. After the Treaty of Purandar, what is there in Treaty of Purandar, student? As per the Treaty of Purandar, Maharaj gave to Mughals 23 of his forts and the adjoining territories, yielding an annual revenue of 4 lakh horns. Okay, students? So, after the Treaty of Purandar, Jai Singh launched a campaign against Adil Shahi. Who launched a campaign? Jai Singh. Against whom? Adil Shahi. Jai Singh proposed that Maharaj should visit Agra and meet Emperor. Okay, so what Jai Singh proposed? That Maharaj should visit Agra and he should meet the Emperor. Shivaji Maharaj, along with Prince Sambhaji and few trusted people, agreed to visit Agra on the guarantee of safety given by Jai Singh. So, who gave the guarantees of safety, student? Jai Singh. Okay, so on the guarantee of safety given by Jai Singh, Shivaji Maharaj, along with Prince Sambhaji and few trusted people, agreed to visit Agra and meet Emperor. Shivaji Maharaj gave vent to his rage as he was not treated him with due honor by Aurangzeb. There he was not at all treated properly. The emperor put Shivaji Maharaj under house arrest. So who put Shivaji Maharaj under house arrest? The emperor. Maharaj adroitly means what, students? In a clever or skillful way. Maharaj, as he was kept under house arrest, he adroitly escaped from Agra and reached Rajgarh. So after escaping from Agra, in which place he reached? He reached Rajgarh. Prince Shambhaji Raje, who was left by Maharaj at Mathura, was later safely brought to Rajgarh. So, in which place Shambhaji Raje was being kept? He was being left by Maharaj at Mathura, and later he was safely brought back to Rajgarh. In the absence of Shivaji Maharaj, Jijamata and her associates looked after Swaraj. So, till the time Shivaji Maharaj was not there, or we can also say in the absence of Shivaji Maharaj, who had taken care after Swaraj? Jijamata and her associates. So, here we have done with students Agra visit and escape. I hope students this much must be clear with everyone. Now we will be learning in detail about on the offensive against Mughals. After returning from Agra, Maharaj did not want any conflict with the Mughals, but he prepared comprehensive plan to recapture the forts and territories given to the Mughals by the Treaty of Purandar. So what happened, students? After returning from Agra, Shivaji Maharaj didn't want any of the conflict with the Mughals, but what he did? He prepared a plan to recapture the forts and territories which was given to Mughals by the Treaty of Purandar. He sent a well-equipped army to capture the forts. So what he did? He prepared a plan. As per the plan, he sent well-equipped army to capture those forts. The Mughals were destabilized by Maharaj invading the territories in Deccan under their control. Now what happened, student? Destabilized means what? They totally became unstable. So the Mughals were destabilized. Why they became destabilized? Because a well-equipped army was being sent. By whom? By Maharaj. Okay, so because of this, the Mughals were destabilized by Maharaj, invading the territories in Deccan under their control. He recaptured several forts such as Singhad, Purandar, Lohagarh, Mahuli, Karnala and Rohida. So he recaptured several forts. Okay, students. Now, Maharaj attacked Surat for the second time. So we have done in the previous video, students, how he had attacked Surat. Again, after attacking that time, now also he attacked Surat for the second time, and on the way back defeated Mughal Sardar Daud Khan at Wani Dindori in Nasik district. So what happened? Maharaj attacked Surat for the second time, and while coming back, he also defeated Mughal Sardar named Daud Khan in which place? At Wani Dindori in Nasik district. Maharaj was successful in the offensive with the help of many Sardars against the Mughals. So Maharaj was successful in the offensive with the help of whom? With the help of many Sardars against the Mughals. He captured as many as 27 forts within 4 months. So how many forts he captured within 4 months? He captured as many as 27 forts. Sardars such as Tanaji Malusare, Moropant Pingle, Pratap Rao Guzar, etc. made a valuable contribution in these offensives. Okay, so who made a valuable contribution in these offensives? Sardars like Tanaji Malusare, Moropant Pingle, Pratap Rao Guzar, they all had made etc. had a valuable contribution in these offensives. Krishnaji Anand Sabhasad, a contemporary chronicler, thus described this campaign. He took as many as 27 forts in 4 months and earned a great reputation for himself. So what he has described? Who? Krishnaji Anand Sabhasad. In his campaign, he had described that he took as many as 27 forts in 4 months and earned a great reputation for himself. So students, in our today's video, we have learned in detail about two things. The first one was Agra visit and escape, in which how Shivaji Maharaj, we have seen how Shivaji Maharaj along with Prince Sambhaji and few trusted people agreed to visit Agra on the guarantee of safety given by Jai Singh. How Shivaji Maharaj was put under house arrest and how he adroitly escaped from Agra and reached Rajgarh. On the offensive against Mughals, we have seen how Shivaji Maharaj recaptured several forts and how he attacked Surat for the second time, and on the way back he defeated Mughal Sardar Daud Khan at Wani Dindori in Nasik district. We have also seen how Shivaji Maharaj captured as many as 27 forts within 4 months. So students, I hope this much must be cleared with everyone. We will be continuing with our next part in our next video. I hope students everything must be clear to you all. If any doubt is there, I request you all to again go through the video and get the doubts clear. Thank you so much. A very good morning, dear children. I hope you all are fine and safe with your family. Students, today in history, we will be doing our last part of lesson number 6, that is conflict with the Mughals. We will just recall what we have done in our past two videos. We have learned in detail about Shaista Khan's invasion, the Surat campaign, Jai Singh's invasion, Agra visit and escape, and on the offensive against Mughals. In our today's video, students, we will be learning in detail about coronation ceremony and the campaign of the South. Coronation. With the view to gain general recognition to Swaraj as a sovereign independent state, Shivaji Maharaj coronated himself on 6 June 1674 at Raigad. Okay, so to gain general recognition to Swaraj as a sovereign independent state, Shivaji Maharaj, he coronated himself on which date? On 6 June 1674 at Raigad. Gagga Bhatt formally crowned Shivaji Maharaj and thereby he became Chhatrapati of Swaraj. Who crowned Shivaji Maharaj? Gagga Bhatt. And after that he became the Chhatrapati of Swaraj. To celebrate the occasion, Rajyabhisheka Shakha, the coronation era was started. Okay, so to celebrate this occasion, Rajyabhisheka Shakha, that is the coronation era, was started. Special coins were minted. Okay, minted means what? It was being prepared. That is a gold coin called Horn and a copper coin called Shivarai with the legend Sri Raja Shiva Chhatrapati inscribed on them. So special coins also were minted. A gold coin which was called as Horn and the copper coin which was called as Shivarai with the legend Sri Raja Shiva Chhatrapati was inscribed on them. Rajya Vyavhara Kosha, showing Sanskrit alternative for Persian words, was also been prepared. So what was Rajya Vyavhara Kosha? It shows Sanskrit alternative for Persian words also was being prepared. The coronation of Shivaji Maharaj was a revolutionary event in the history of medieval India. So what was a revolutionary event in the history of medieval India? Coronation of Shivaji Maharaj. along with Vedic ritual, Tantric ritual coronation was performed on 24th September 1674 by Gosavi of Nishchalpuri. Okay, so along with Vedic ritual also was being done. Along with Vedic ritual, Tantric ritual coronation also was performed on which date? On 24th September 1674 by whom? By Gosavi of Nishchalpuri. Prince Sambhaji was 17 years old at the time of coronation of Shivaji Maharaj. What was Prince Sambhaji age during the coronation of Shivaji Maharaj? It was 17 years old. He has described the coronation ceremony in the treatise Buddha Bhushanam. So, in which treatise he has described the coronation ceremony? He has described the coronation ceremony in the treatise Buddha Bhushanam. An extremely valuable and grand throne was made for the coronation of Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, an extremely valuable and grand throne was being made for the coronation ceremony. There were 8 bejeweled pillars on 8 sides of the throne. So, how many bejeweled pillars were there? 8 bejeweled pillars were there on 8 sides of the throne. This throne, made of 32 mun of gold, had been studded with precious jewels. Okay, so this throne, which was made of 32 mun of gold, had been studded with precious jewel. So this was the coronation of Shivaji Maharaj. I hope, students, this much be cleared with everyone. Now we will be learning in detail about the campaign of the South. In October 1677, Shivaji Maharaj entered into the Treaty of Friendship with Qutub Shahi of Golconda. So what happened in the year 1677? In October 1677, Shivaji Maharaj had entered into Treaty of Friendship with Qutub Shahi of Golconda. He won Bengaluru, Hoskote in Karnataka, Jinji and Vellore forts in Tamil Nadu and some territories of Adil Shah. So, after entering into Treaty of Friendship with Qutub Shahi of Golconda, Shivaji Maharaj won Bengaluru, Hoskote in Karnataka, Jinji and Vellore forts in Tamil Nadu and also some territories of Adil Shah. He appointed Raghunath Narayan Hanmante as chief administrator. Okay, so Raghunath Narayan Hanmante was being appointed as chief administrator. However, he failed to enlist cooperation of his half-brother, ruler of Tanjavur, in the work of Swaraj. Okay, but what happened? He failed to enlist cooperation of his half-brother, who was the ruler of Tanjavur, half-brother Vyankoji, who was a ruler of Tanjavur, in the work of Swaraj. He annexed Fort of Jinji in Tamil Nadu, which proved of great importance when he had to leave Maharashtra for safety reasons. Okay, so what happened? He also annexed Fort of Jinji, which is in Tamil Nadu, which had proved of great importance when he had to leave Maharashtra for safety reason. Shivaji Maharaj passed away at Raigad Fort on 3rd April 1680. So what happened? Shivaji Maharaj passed away at Raigad Fort on 3rd April 1680. His death at the age of 50 was a great loss for Swaraj. A great era came to an end. Okay, so all these things, students, we have learned in this lesson. Here we complete our lesson number 6, that is conflict with the Mughals. Let's recap, students, what we have done in our today's video. We have learned in detail about coronation. In that we have learned with a view to gain general recognition to the Swaraj as sovereign independent state. Shivaji Maharaj coronated himself on 6th June 1674 at Raigad. Gaggaphat formally crowned Shivaji Maharaj and thereby he became Chhatrapati of Swaraj. Along with Vedic ritual, Tantric ritual coronation was performed on 24th September 1674 by Gosavi of Nischal Puri. We have also learned in detail about Campaign of the South. In October 1677, Shivaji Maharaj entered into treaty of friendship with Qutub Shahi of Golconda. We have also seen how he won Bengaluru, Hoskote in Karnataka, Jinji and Vellore forts in Tamil Nadu and some territories of Adil Shah. We have also seen he annexed Fort of Jinji in Tamil Nadu, which proved of great importance when he had to leave Maharashtra for safety reasons. Shivaji Maharaj passed away at Raigad Fort on 3rd April 1680. A great era came to an end. I hope, students, this much must be cleared with everyone. If any doubt is there, I request everyone to again go through the video and get the doubts clear. Thank you so very much.